This is Jim Harper, and I'm sharing the second section of my memoirs. The question is, why did I choose to go to Southeastern Bible College? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, my pastor recommended that this was a school that catered to families. And of course, I had 2 children, and by the time we left the school, we had 3 children, so that fit the bill. Also, this was a school that was known with a faculty, a great faculty. I had my bachelor's degree, so I didn't go there for a degree, but I wanted to study under these men, pastoral theology, Greek, Bible. And so in a 2-year period of time, I just went through and took all the best courses under the best men that I could study under. And that proved to be real successful. That laid a foundation, really, for all the other studying I've ever since. All the doctrine and teaching that has carried me for 45 years started in that 2 years. Now, several things happened in that 2 years. In the second semester, I developed a pilonidal cyst. Now, if you don't know what that is that it's your tailbone if a cyst can grow. And this cyst grew up my back. And by the time they removed it, it was the size of a small banana. But this occurred, and I realized the problem in March of my second semester. And the doctor told me, he said, the only thing we can do is have surgery. And I said, Doc, I'm in the middle of some important studies. I said, I have got Greek and pastoral theology and homiletics, and I said, I can't stop. He said, well, I'm going to give you a lot of antibiotics, and we're going to put you on a rubber tube to sit on every day, and hopefully we can get you till the first day of June and have surgery. Well, sure enough, the first day of June, my doctor, who used the most expensive hospital in Birmingham, we went in. I was in for 10 days. One of the advantages was I led my roommate to the Lord, and that was great. Went into surgery. And something peculiar about me, I've had 5 surgeries in my life, and all 5 I woke up during surgery. And they gave me a sedative and then a spinal, and they were having to remove this cyst, which was quite large. And I woke up, and the anesthesiologist got a little concerned. And so he asked me, this was on a Monday morning, and he said, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a minister. He said, oh, okay. And you know, I talk all the time. So immediately, I began to teach my Sunday's lesson. And it was on Micah. And most of the guy in the surgical term didn't even know what a minor prophet was. So I had to start from the very beginning. And we talked the book of Micah and where Bethlehem is mentioned and all this other. And pretty soon the surgeon was asking questions. And so I had a pretty good audience there. Well, we had the surgery, but unfortunately for me, that type of surgery, they do not sew up. They do not close it. They leave it open so it would heal from the inside out. That meant twice a day for the next 2 months, my wife had to wash it out with peroxide. Now let me tell you something. Open wound like that with peroxide is almost worse than the surgery. Now, the only thing that really cured it, we went to Pensacola and I dove into the ocean there, and it cured it, man. That salt water took care of that problem, and that was great. Well, when I came out of the hospital, I didn't have insurance. So I signed a great big IOU that within 30 days I would pay this bill, and it was a big bill. Well, would you believe that hospital had the audacity to send me a letter on the 25th day saying, in 5 more days, you got to pay this thing. Well, I then had my first all-day prayer meeting. I gathered in my study, and I took a shoebox and had some other bills, and I got before the Lord. And I said, Lord, how am I going to represent you and how faithful you are and good you are if you can't come through for me right now? This is a need bigger than anything I've ever faced. And then I read these verses. Let me read you to them. It's in Romans. It says, so you should not be like cowering, fearful slaves. You should behave instead like God's very own children, adopted into his family, calling him Abba, Father. For His Holy Spirit speaks to us deep in our hearts and tells us that we're God's children. And since we're His children, we share His treasures. For everything God gives to His Son, Christ is ours too. But if we are to share His glory, we also must share His suffering. I read that and realized that 3 times in the Bible you have the term Abba Father. And that means, Daddy, I need you. And I cried out that day in this prayer meeting, Dad, I need you. And I need you now. Well, you know what? It took Daddy all day. At 10 o'clock that night, we're coming in from church, and the phone's ringing. And my wife answers the phone, and it's her aunt in Houston, who she very seldom talked to. And her aunt said, Judy, your grandfather's will was probated this afternoon, and we're sending you a check tomorrow. The check was twice as much as what we needed. And, I mean, it was an amount that we had never seen. So we gave part of it to her mother, who was not in the will. Only thing we needed was a mattress. And then we sit there on the table and we looked at thousands of dollars. And wife and I had the same idea. There are students at that school that needed their bills paid. So the next day we went to the bookkeeper and we paid off as many of the student bills as we could. And we had quite a bit of money to do that. I often wish that I could have been there the next day and seen them open their mailboxes and here's a note, paid in full. But you know, it's more blessed to give than to receive. And that was one of the greatest blessings we ever experienced, was having God answered our prayer, Daddy, I need you. He came through in a mighty way, and then He says, I'm going to give you a little more. Let's see what you're going to do with it. And so we were able to trust Him through that and that experience, and it was really a great experience at that time. Now, let me share a couple more things with you. At the end of the first semester, I realized that I didn't have enough money, that I had some savings and I was using it up real quick. So I decided I had to get some work. And I'd had 9 years of pharmaceutical training, so I opened the phone book and there were 2 companies. And one of them I knew a lot about, and I wouldn't touch them. They were crooked and everything I knew about. But the other one I didn't know anything about. So I made an appointment. They were pretty close to the school. And I went in and sat down to the owner and president. And right off, I told him my testimony and what I'd been doing and my background and training and all of that in pharmaceuticals. And he let me finish that, and then he said, okay, let me tell you about my love for Jesus. And I was really taken back. And then he went into his testimony. And then he concluded by saying, I teach Sunday school every Sunday morning. But I feel like, you're not supposed to be unequally yoked. And I felt like God yoked us. And I worked for Him for 2.5 years, and He gave me a good territory. He had a good product line. So it was very easy for me to go out and represent Him, and I made some good money, made good money for Him. It worked fine. And our relationship grew to the point that he had a son that was a drug addict. And he came to me just after I got a call to go to Illinois. And he says, Jim, why don't you stay? I'll give you my company. And I said, Mr. Wade, I've already left the pharmaceutical industry once, and God has called me to ministry, and I thank you, but I'm not going to stay with it. And we stayed in contact. We stayed friends. My name is James Harper. I'm called preacher. I'm called pastor. I'm called reverend. I have a doctorate degree, but I don't like to be called that. That's embarrassing. When they had the CBs in trucks a long time ago, I was called a rip-roaring reverend. And that was my title. And I've always liked that. I've been a very enthusiastic, moving person, so that fit me. But of all my titles and all my names, there is one that I treasure more than anything else. I have a bunch of children and grandchildren, and they call me Papa. So all these other titles are okay, but that's the main title. And I have a vision of when I get to heaven, I'm going to be standing there, and there's going to be a young man come up to me. I think we might all be the same age. I can't prove that, but I think we might be. And this young man is going to come up to me and tap me on the shoulder, and I'm going to turn around and look at him, and he's going to say, "Papa, I'm your first grandson, and I died at birth, but I'm up here in heaven. And Papa, I'm glad to meet you." And now that truth is dear to me. And I know others have the same situation, and they're looking forward to meeting their loved ones the same way as I would. Now, our next episode, I'm going to take you into the fact that I was asked to do interim work at a little church, and I was so anxious to preach that I didn't even find out what this church was all about. And it was a church that had gone through a terrible split, and God sent me there, and I was going to be the cure of the problem. Well, that became a postgraduate course. It became the worst church I ever worked with. And it, honestly, it was a year that taught us two things. One, hold true to the Word of God, and two, I'll take care of you. And so next time, we're going to talk about that. This is Jim Harper. Thank you for listening.